This episode of the EV Resource Podcast is brought to you by the Electric Vehicle Fall Festival, the biggest and most fun EV event in the Mid-Atlantic region. Taking place at Dominion Raceway in scenic Spotsylvania County, Virginia, the EV Fall Fest will feature a ride and drive, EV education zone, judged EV car show with cash prize, and track time for EV owners on the 2-mile DR road course and 8th-mile drag strip. Tickets are on sale now via Eventbrite, and you can also check out the Facebook event page. Both links will be in the show notes. Coming up on episode 110 of the EV Resource Podcast, I had the opportunity to sit down with Scott Partridge of In The Shade RVA to talk about vehicle wraps, ceramic coating, paint protection film, and really get to a lot of the answers to questions that I had, but also I'm sure questions that you all might have as well about how to best take care of the exterior of our vehicles. But before we get to the conversation with Scott, I want to thank our podcast partner, Titan Auto and Tire in Central Virginia, for their support. Titan is one of the very few independent shops in Central Virginia that are qualified to work on EVs, and from hybrids to Hummers, they fix everything. For more information and to schedule an appointment for your vehicle, go to TitanAutoTire.com. That's TitanAutoTire.com. So, Scott, thank you for taking some of your time to sit down and answer some questions that I know not only myself that I had before we put the wrap on the car and today putting the ceramic coating on there. You know, I think what you're going to share is going to help answer a lot of the questions that people have.
Sounds good. I appreciate you letting me be on the show today and talk about what I'm passionate about.
Yeah, well, you know, this will be fun. You know, some of the things that I definitely want to make sure that we absolutely cover are the differences between ceramic coating or paint protection film or a full wrap. Why somebody might choose one or the other, or in this case, you know, we did the wrap first and then we just put the first layer of ceramic coating on that. So real quick, I guess we can just kind of dive in. What are the differences between those?
They all have their advantages and disadvantages. Ceramic coating is a liquid applied to the paint, or in your case, the film, the full wrap. The PPF, which is paint protection film, is applied generally over the factory paint that's been in good condition or buffed or polished or a brand new car to protect from chips and things of that nature. The full wraps are more of a color change. You know, if you're on a budget and you want to change the color of your car, you can do that, or you can get into some custom crazy colors, you know, like yours. The advantage to the ceramic coating versus the PPF, it's easier to apply. It has between a 5 and 7 year warranty on it. Okay. The PPF, depending on the manufacturer, has between a 5 and 7 year. It will eventually yellow out.
Oh, really?
The ceramic coating, there is no clear defined lines. Like if you're to do PPF on a hood, if you didn't want that line, you'd have to do the entire hood or an entire fender. Sure. Because you'll get that fine line of the stopping point.
Right.
You know. The full wraps are fun. There's just a funky color change, and it'll help protect the paint. As you see, some of the dings and dents will happen. You know, but it's all good. Yeah.
One of the things in the Tesla community specifically, a lot of people talk about Teslas just do not have a thick quality paint to them. So people really, almost one of the first things that a lot of people do after buying the car is, okay, how can I protect the paint the best? And, you know, that was the same question that my wife and I had. It was, okay, we just bought this car. It's the most amount of money we've ever spent in our entire lives. We want to make sure that it stays in good shape. And we were looking at the differences, you know, and trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to protect the factory paint? And so at a certain point, we realized that covering it with a film, whether it be paint protectant film, which is clear, or a full wrap. And we ended up going with the full wrap because from a cost perspective, it seemed like it was going to be roughly the same. one of the things that we found after the wrap is, especially on the nose, I mean, Teslas don't really have a grill like traditional cars do. So
big flat
it's
nose.
It's like a rock and magnet. So, we started to notice a couple chips out of the wrap, which it's not huge. They're not really noticeable, especially if you're not like looking for them at up close. The ceramic coating that we put on there today, what are the biggest benefits to that? I mean, I've always heard that a ceramic coating is just like a fancy way to not have to wax your car for a few years.
It's going to give the longevity of it. It's essentially a wax type of form where during a wax stage, you're going to want to wax a car once a year, maintain it and buff it. And then with this style of application with the ceramic, the liquid coating, you'll get 5 to 7 years out of it. Hand wash, the wraps and the PPF and the ceramic coating will tell on you if you take it through a car wash.
How is that?
Because you'll actually see the beater bar brushes down the side, and you'll have hot spots in the ceramic coating.
Oh, really?
The pressure from the brushes and the high power washing. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. And so, I mean, not just with Teslas, but really with any car. Is there something different about the paint these days versus maybe 20 or 30 years ago? Like, it just doesn't seem like it's as good of quality anymore.
Well, with the EPA standards now, back 20 years ago, you could use straight enamel and, 1 stage or 2 stage base coat, clear coat, and there was so many chemicals in it. It was extremely hard. And now with the European cars, Mercedes and the BMW, extremely soft paint. You can actually put a meter on it, and it's microns thin. So it doesn't take the abuse like the old Chevy from 30 years ago.
Right.
So that's probably coming up with all these coatings and PPF and to counteract the chemicals in the paints.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that if somebody cares about the way the car looks, to that level of detail. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that don't ever bother with that. And if they get rock chips and they live with it and that's fine. I would imagine that having a really nice, good quality paint job on a car will help its resale value.
Yes. Absolutely.
So whenever you do get, to go sell it, especially private party, if it looks nicer, people are going to treat that vehicle differently and value it differently.
Yeah, because I think you took care of it and you actually cared about the car, and it's just not an everyday driver beater.
I think the one thing that I didn't bring up there was now I'm actually not remembering what it's called. It's like paint restoration almost, or something that people will have done to almost enhance the quality of the paint, even to make it look better than showroom quality.
Mm-hmm. It's paint correction.
Yeah, there you go. Paint correction. Thank you. I'm like, my brain just isn't working. But if somebody really said, hey, I want the best quality to keep my car looking nicest, would they want to do that before doing like a ceramic coating or a paint protection film or anything like that?
You absolutely want to do paint correction first. That way you can repair any chips or marred finishes, scratches, hairline scratches, spider webbing. Spider webbing's basically, if you're out in the sunshine, you look down the side of the car, you see swirl marks from the dirt and the grit and the mittens you use to clean the car. So the spider webbing is a big one. You can do paint touch-up. And you want to do all that before either ceramic, PPF, or the wrap. The wrap will hide all of that, but you'll see, if it's a big enough chip, you'll actually see that chip through the wrap.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then it'll actually leave an indentation. With the clear coat, the PPF paint protection film, if you don't touch it up, if it's a white car and now it's got a little rust spot in it, you lay the PPF over that, you're still going to see that chip and that rust spot. Okay. So you're going to want to make sure whatever's there is fixed. Yeah. And then with the ceramic coating, the same sort of thing. Because once you put the ceramic coating on there, it's adhering to chemically bonding to the paint or the wrap like we did on yours. And it's there, and now you've essentially buried the imperfections under the wrap or the clear coat or
the ceramic coating. And that's something that I've found to be very fascinating, where I just thought, ceramic coating, you're just kind of laying it on top of whatever's there. But you've said that it's actually on a chemical level bonding with either the paint or the wrap or whatever is underneath that.
Yes. And as it dries, it cures deeper into the paint. It's a hydrophobic coating that will cure into the paint and actually blend in with the paint and the wrap. And as depending on the ceramic you use, it progressively gets more aggressive within the drying time.
Okay.
So it will continue to work into the paint, continue to work into the wrap, and get shinier and brighter as you see in yours.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, already just after, a minute of it, kind of buffing it out, and not only could you see a difference, but feeling that's the one thing that really is, it's just so smooth. And then my understanding of the word hydrophobic is that water will then just kind of run off of this. I mean,
yes. Paint will run off of it. Road grime will run off of it. We actually had a guy years ago that came in and showed me this product, and I figured he was selling snake oil. And he had a white F-150, and we ceramic coated it and did it. And he actually put it out on the side, June or July, sprayed the side of it with red spray paint.
Oh my goodness!
And then we rinsed it off with a garden hose.
Wow!
So it's advanced. Like
I'm not gonna try that with Tesla.
His was a company car. So that advantage road grime, grease off their streets. If they're spraying the yellow and white lines, we have a lot of customers come in that will speed around these paint trucks. And a few days later, notice they have yellow sprayed down the entire side of the car.
Wow.
Yeah. So that will help with that. The maintenance is a big thing. So you won't have to really scrub the car. You could do more of a rinse and a chamois.
Sure.
And wash every other time.
I know my wife will appreciate that. Yes. She'll rinse the car off every day before going to work. Like just whatever's on there, she'll rinse it off because this car, especially with the color the way it is, it attracts attention.
Yeah.
So she wants to make sure that attention is a good response versus, oh my God, look how horrible that car looks with all the dirt on it.
Yeah.
So you're saying that actually the ceramic coating will just help make that process a lot easier.
The maintenance easier, yes.
That's awesome. I know she'll be happy to hear that. For sure. Because it's not the smallest car. It's not the biggest either, but I mean, it takes some time to go around it and kind of rinse things off. In terms of washing a vehicle, or detailing a vehicle, or even just exterior, making it look nice. I mean, you've mentioned that going through a car wash, with the brushes and everything is just very damaging to paint.
Well, I mean, that's basically it. Car washes have come a long ways. They do the touchless car washes now, which is a good thing. I know there's still a few.
I've never found that those actually get dirt off your car, though.
Yeah, but with that, it doesn't do 100%. But the beater bar brushes with the big fuzzy,
right? Yeah.
You have to think. All these guys with these big mud trucks have gone through there. Ugh. So
all that mud,
all that mud's caked in those fuzzy.
They don't clean those off, do they? I mean,
no, and then they recycle all of the water.
Right.
So all the mud water is being recycled. It's supposed to be clean, but now you're taking your Tesla through there.
And no.
You're having all that mud and debris from the big mud truck now beat down the side of your car.
That would be very abrasive. I could.
Yes. Yeah. So it's
hand washing's the way to go.
Hand wash is the way to go. Get you a bucket, get you a sponge.
Now, I've heard that hand washing in the sun, or just washing a car in the sun, and like you got to be very careful about how you're drying it off too, because like the sun can kind of bake in like the soap bubbles or water.
Yep, all the chemicals. You definitely want to do a rinse and a wash in a cool area, out of the sunshine if you can, or rinse it and then pull it under a tree so you're getting some sort of sunshine relief.
Sure.
Or if you have a garage or any sort
most people's garage is going to be full of junk. I mean, like I thought about running out to the store and buying one of those like 10 by 10 tents that you can just hang.
Absolutely.
You know,
I actually have one of those.
You know, that way, at the very least, I mean, it might not cover the entire car, but you know, different parts that you're working on, you can kind of
really
do that.
Want to concentrate on the flats, like the roof, the hood, and the trunk.
Okay, and why is that more important than
because
like
the water's just sitting there beating up, and it's the hottest part.
Okay.
So the sun's just like flat, dead right on those 3 body parts. The fenders and the side panels, they get a boost from the sunshine, but you really want to start when you're washing the car and cleaning the car. Start at the top, rinse all the dirt down.
Sure. Because that's, I mean, gravity. That's gravity, the direction it's going to go.
And then when you're shaming the car, shaming the hood, roof, all the flats first.
Okay.
You know, so you're out of the sunshine. And if you don't have the luxury of a garage, you know, that water's just not sitting there beating up.
Sure.
And drying the chemicals into the paint or the wrap.
Now, ceramic coating, I would imagine, does that just, you still need to do that same process, but it will just help the water run off? Is that kind of how,
yes,
you know, what we would expect from that? And then sunlight, I mean, I love sun. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. It feels great. But for cars, it seems like that is one of the biggest causes of damage, either to the paint or even, I mean, we can even get into tint, because I know that's something that you do too. Actually, the first thing that I ever had done with the Spark was getting the tint done. Yeah. And to this day, that still is one of my favorite things about it, because in the summertime, and we don't get like 140 degree heat here in Virginia, but it'll get up into the 90s, so that the inside of the car might be 140 degrees. And with this tint, I think it blocks like 95%.
99% UV. Full ceramic is what we did on the Spark.
Yes.
99% UV and 68% physical heat.
I mean, it makes a difference. Like on an
absolutely.
80-degree day, I don't even need to turn on my AC because of that. And that is an important part that I want to kind of transition to. And I know this is kind of off topic from what the whole point of this was, but it kind of relates, because with an electric vehicle, part of taking care of that is going to keep the interior in good shape, you know, protect it from sun damage and heat damage, especially if you don't have a car like Teslas have cabin overheat protection. If you turn it on, it'll keep it from going above, I think, 105 degrees or something inside. But if you have a car that doesn't have that, cars are all electronics now. They're computers. So if you really want your computer getting to be 120 or 130 degrees,
absolutely,
you know, that would be an issue. With window tint, are there ways of applying something to like the windshield that doesn't tint it, but then can keep the UV light from like a lot of that heat from getting into the car?
They make it's a UV clear.
And is that legal? Because it's legal. I mean, it's clear.
In Virginia, it currently is not legal.
Okay.
Unless you have a medical waiver.
Gotcha.
So with medical waiver, saying you have glasses like you, bad eyes, bad skin,
sensitive
a lot of medications have
bright
lights, and a lot of blood pressure medications are light sensitive now.
Oh, interesting.
I actually take one. So,
okay.
Yeah. So you can actually, with Virginia, they have a sun shading medical form that you apply for. You take it to your dermatologist or your eye doctor, your skin doctor, family doctor. They sign it saying, you know, Scott and Zach are afraid of the sunshine, or they're UV sensitive, and they'll sign it, and they're doctors. And then you send it to DMV, and DMV will register that with your car.
Okay.
So it follows your car. That allows you to do the window film on the front glass. And with that, all of the films, whether it's super, super clear or super, super dark, all of the films I carry are full ceramic, 99% UV, and 68% heat rejection.
And I mean, there's a reason that you're doing that. Like with the ceramic, is that better than, you know,
standard
what
carbon? Years ago, it was a dyed film, then it was a carbon film, then it was a semi-metallic film, and now with the new ceramics coming out within the past 10 years, I mean, it's an amazing product. It's optically clear looking out, so there's no distortion. It is a tint to it.
Sure.
So outside seeing in, it's going to give you some privacy, some security, but the benefit is the UV and the heat rejection.
Well, for an EV, climate control, aside from the power of actually motivating the car and driving down the road, climate settings are probably the second biggest energy draw. So if you can reduce that, tint is actually a great way to almost extend the range of the car because you're not using as much energy, so you can drive further.
And that's one of the selling points. I do a lot of work for Luckstone and Vulcan equipment, their heavy equipment down in the quarries. So we'll go in and do ceramic on all of their vehicles, the quarry vehicles. So the engines aren't working as hard. So you're not having to burn so much diesel. Your people are climate controlled in the cabs.
So they're more comfortable.
And they're going to want to work more efficiently.
Yep.
Because they're not dying hot in the cab of this truck.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, so it works. It saves our people, saves your interior, saves your diesel. In your case, it saves your electric. The car runs more efficiently. The tractors run more efficiently, saving all the way around.
Sure. So, in terms of cost, I mean, the average car, like obviously some cars have more surface area to cover and more windows than others. But in general, if somebody wanted, let's just kind of go through these. If somebody wanted a full paint protection film on every surface of the car, full hood, fenders, the sides, the rear, everything. I mean, I know people that have done it, and that's the only reason I'm asking. I mean,
it gets expensive.
Okay.
It gets expensive. Typically, your everyday mom and pop sort of, I like the car, I want to kind of take care of it. We'll do a quarter hood, quarter fenders, and front flats.
Okay. And why just those areas? Like, what's so special about those areas versus the driver's door, or, as an example?
Well, typically, if you're driving down the road, the rock chips and the debris are hitting the nose. Most of what you see in hood damage is less than half from the nose up. But a lot of people don't like that line. So then we do full hoods, and then there's super particular people with door dings and things that want to do a full wrap.
Okay.
It gets expensive. I've seen BMWs, full hood, doors, mirrors, roof, trunk, everything, $8,000 to $10,000.
Wow, really? That's
versus
that's a lot.
Versus but I mean, you're paying $100,000 for this car.
Well, that's true.
So versus,
I guess if you've got the money for that car, then putting out another $8,000 to $10,000 really isn't that big of a deal.
And then the reason behind it, why it's so expensive, is because you have to order large rolls, and if you're doing something that you're gonna have a clean room,
right? So sure, because any bit of dust
is going to show. Just like what I was saying earlier, if you have that little rust spot,
right,
you're going to still see it.
Yep.
So you have to do paint correction, even if it's a brand new car. Down trailer them in, you're going to have road grime, so you're still going to have to do full paint protection.
Oh wow.
You're going to have to go through clay bar, clean, scrub, wash, prep, alcohol like we did on yours. And then come in and start laying the film.
So even before you get to the actual laying of the film, there's so much other work.
Days of prep.
Wow.
Days of prep. Yeah.
See, I don't think people really understand the ins and outs of how that works. They're like, oh, just throw something on top, and I just bought the car. The paint's fine. Like, just
That's what I get all the time. Paint's a brand new car. What's wrong with it? And I'll have them run their hand across. They're like, oh. So it's the grit, it's the transport coming in from, Florida up on the tractor trailer, and, between Florida and Carolina and Georgia. And I mean, all that grit and snow and dirt is just sitting on the car. And they have their guy at the dealership hit it with a quick rinse and throw some tire sealant and say it's good to go.
Right.
It's not good to go. I mean, it is absolutely not. I mean, like yours, the difference with the alcohol clean and the scrub and everything. So I mean, there's a lot to it. It's a process.
Sure.
Like I have the Porsche back here now. I've been working on that for about 7 days now. But that's full off paint restoration, mirrors, headlights. We did ceramic on all the glass, all the lights, wheels, calipers, body panels, interior ceramic.
That sounds like quite a bit.
It's a lot.
I mean, ceramic coating you can do for a lot more than just body panels. I mean, you were saying like
you can do wheels, glass, wheels, calipers. They actually make a interior ceramic dressing that you can put on leather and
Really?
cloth and floors and dashboards.
And all just to help kind of protect these things to keep them in good shape. Yep. I'm curious, actually, for wheels, like brake calipers, that would probably help keep brake dust from building up, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, especially if you're doing a performance car with a lot of the new cars have red calipers, yellow calipers, purple calipers, white calipers.
Right.
It absolutely keeps, the maintenance on those way down.
Brakes get hot. So, I mean, does ceramic coating, like, even with the heat in some of the brakes on the brake calipers, does it still hold pretty good? It will
stand the heat, yep.
Wow. That's awesome. That's something that I never would have thought of, before. Yeah. Because naturally, I mean, the conversation, I mean, you can see from where we started just with our conversation today, it's all about the paint, but there's really so much more to a car, like absolutely. Wheels. I can't tell you how many times, I've been like wiping down the wheels, even in the Tesla, and it's just, they're so dirty.
Mm-hmm. And then with the ceramic coating, the dirt will still be there. The dirt's always going to be there.
Sure.
It's the process of, are you going to spend 45 minutes a wheel, or are you going to hit it with a rag and a garden hose and it just comes right off?
See, I wouldn't spend 45 minutes with the wheel anyway. But then again, that's
the advantage to the ceramic.
Sure.
Guys, like your wife, she'll spend 45 minutes on the wheel.
She would.
You will not.
No. Yeah. You will not find me.
I will ceramic coat it, and then I'll spend 3 minutes on the wheel.
Okay. So that makes a lot of sense. So maybe I know we didn't do that today, but maybe that'll be one of the next things that I focus on is, or even for the Spark, with those other track wheels that I have. I mean, those are the wheels and tires that I would put on if I wanted to show the car. If I wanted to take it to Cars and Coffee or some other car show or whatever, to keep it looking nice. That probably would really help with prep for a show like that, where you can just kind of wipe things down in a few minutes.
And with the ceramic, most of the ceramics now, they make a ceramic quick detailer. It's a spray bottle. Okay. And come in with a chamois or a microfiber. And then you've already prepped the car, basically. Right. With the ceramic. So now you're just doing a little maintenance in between.
Okay. So that makes it a lot easier. So that definitely, I know a lot of people like to show their Teslas. I don't know what it is about Tesla as a brand or the cars that people get so excited about those versus other EVs. And it eats at me sometimes because I like all electric cars. I don't care what it is. Yeah. But that's definitely something that people with Teslas especially get a full wrap. And I think it's important that the wrap is almost just one step of the process, really, to keep it the ceramic that we put on this, it increased the shine to it, and made it look so much better. And I wasn't expecting that. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really excited about that because, of course, this car it's one that in the sunlight especially, it just sparkles. So
yeah, and this will enhance that. And as the ceramic cures and dries, it will progressively get more shiny, if that's a real word.
Shinier.
Yeah. And as the chemicals bonding into the wrap, it will maintain that shine.
That's cool.
And the gloss, and the maintenance will be hardly anything. The wife will love it. She'll go out there, wipe it down.
That's really cool.
And once you put water on it, you can actually see the craziest, water bubbles everywhere. It's just the beading action,
like when you put Rain-X on your windshield, kind of type thing. And that's actually a question. I mean, it just popped into my head. If you put ceramic coating on the exterior of a windshield, is the rain going to kind of beat up and kind of shoot off, kind of like the way Rain-X works?
It would be twice as effective. You could essentially not use your wipers.
I mean, officially, we're not recommending that. But, and then, okay, let's say you do use your wipers. Mm-hmm. If you put ceramic coating on a windshield, are the wipers going to kind of just the natural abrasion there of wiping? Is that going to
It will deteriorate.
Yeah.
Now, if I do windshields, I only warned him for the first 2 years.
Right. Because that's just not going to last as long.
That's not going to last. It's kind of funny you asked.
But I mean, honestly, 2 years is still pretty darn good.
Yeah.
That's
that's
okay.
Then with the windshield wipers, they recommend replacing windshield wipers every 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, every 6 months.
I don't think
Yeah.
I replace them when they tear.
Yeah. Well, that would help with the. That's why I say if you're a car person, you take care of your car every 6 months. That will prolong the average ceramic on a windshield, maybe a year, 2 years if you take care.
Right.
But if you don't take care of your windshield wipers, it's going to progressively eat it up faster.
Sure. But I mean, to be honest, even a year, like that's all right.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't mind redoing it every 6 months for the ceramic coating, honestly, because what we did today, I mean, this was the first time that I have ever done anything like that. I mean, I've never even waxed a car. Okay. I mean, this is just, I have no experience with that. I'll wash a car, but before the Tesla, was always the guy that would take it through a car wash. Okay. I'm like, hey, I need something quick, 10, 15 minutes, I'm done. I don't want to think about it, don't want to spend any time on it. And now with the Tesla, it's like, okay, well, we want to take care of this car. Yeah. Like, it's the first vehicle that I've had.
It's a house. It's an investment.
It's the biggest amount of money that, I mean, obviously we didn't pay for it in cash. So, I mean, but still, it's like I spent the money. I committed to paying them a certain amount of money. I want the car to be as nice as possible for as long as possible. So learning all of these things, I mean, I think it's kind of great because there might be people listening to this that are in the same position I am. They're kind of learning and they're curious. They want to know a little bit more. But the ceramic coating, I found that the actual application was easy, but the part that I would have missed was everything that you were telling me as we were going through, like what to look for, look at it in the light and kind of check to make sure that some of the cloudiness and oiliness of at least the ceramic coating that I had purchased, were able to get that removed. There was a lot more to the process that was based on knowledge and experience than the actual application and then buffing of that.
And that's where I get a lot of customers that come in. Oh, it's just a chemical. You just put it on there real quick. Well, you can, but it's like you say. I've been doing this 33 years, and you're not paying me for the job. You're paying me for 33 years of knowing how to do that job.
Right.
So
I mean, I watched probably a half a dozen YouTube videos on how to apply ceramic coating. Yeah.
Probably all dozen were probably different than the way I did.
I mean, well, and they were different from each other, which kind of then go, all right, well, which am I listening to? Because I don't know if it's my generation or just the world today, but it's like, if I want to learn how to do something,
YouTube,
I'm going to YouTube or Google and I'm watching a video and I'm reading about how to do it. And even with that basic understanding, I still didn't feel comfortable doing it without you being there to kind of to help out and show how it should be done. Yeah. Now, I could probably get away with it now, but I don't have a garage.
Okay.
At home, our driveway, we've got trees that even on a not windy day, it's going to be dropping stuff as you're going through.
Yeah, you definitely, a garage or a carport or something of that nature to give you some protection. Like as we're doing this interview now, we finished up with your car at 10:30.
Yeah, about an hour and a half ago.
It's still drying and curing.
Right.
It's going to take several more hours. The one I have in the bay beside yours is a 72-hour cure.
Wow.
And that's something. No rain.
Yeah, that's 3 days.
No rain, no washing, no people touching, no.
Just leave it alone.
Let it do its thing. Yep. And so there are different types of ceramics.
Are there certain ones that you would recommend, like certain products? And I don't necessarily want to turn this into we're selling ceramic coating from one company versus another, but I mean, with your experience, have you run into certain things or types of ceramic coating that just work better?
The Armor Shield is what I use. It's a very good product. The way they set the kits up, now it comes with the applicator and the sponge and the chemical itself. It comes with gloves. It comes with the terry cloth microfiber to remove the chemicals. It comes with a very detailed written instruction book.
Okay.
And then it has the QR code where you can actually watch and scan how to put the product
Okay.
on.
I mean, so that sounds like it's a great all-in-one kit. Is there something about that product specifically that makes it better than other types of ceramic coating?
The ease of application.
Okay.
The longevity. They are good company to deal with. You can get most of their chemicals. The basic kit is about $80. Then you can pay a couple dollars for shipping wherever you're at. But it comes with everything you need.
Which
that's
enough
to do one car.
Fairly affordable for considering the level of protection and like what you get from that. Mm-hmm. That is not what we got for the Tesla.
No, we
got the chemical guys.
Also a great product. I've used that, like I was telling you earlier. I just did a boat with the fiberglass version of the ceramic. Mm-hmm. Great product, great group of guys. You can call them and actually talk to real people.
That's cool.
I'm old school. All the younger guys are like computer, emails, text. And I want to be able to say, hey, this is what's happening. This is what's going wrong or right with the product. What do I need to do to fix it? And you talk to Bob on the other end. Bob's like, you did that in the sunshine. It's wrong.
Yeah.
Pull it under a carport.
So let's say somebody does a bad job. Is that reversible? I mean, are you stuck with this car that looks bad, or what do you need to do? Do you have to completely buff it out?
It has to be completely buffed and chemical removed.
Oh,
so
that sounds either expensive or very time consuming.
It's very time consuming. Like the chemical guys product, you could probably wash it about 100 times. It will come off. You can buff it, polish it. Some of the other chemicals, ceramics, have to be chemically removed or polished or buffed off.
Wow.
And it does get expensive.
Okay, so I guess the moral of the story is hire somebody that has done this. Don't do it yourself.
Hire someone or have a friend with a garage like me and you.
Well, but I mean, you've got the experience where I wouldn't have just driven to anybody that had a garage and be like, hey, you've got a garage, let's figure it out. Yeah. It's good to have friends that know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
So I guess, this is kind of a good place to end it. But before we do,
one other.
What do you got?
Add on. So you're talking about doing ceramic on glass.
Yeah. Okay.
Super odd. I actually do it on my marble kitchen countertops.
Oh.
For staining and ease of clean, and the new gigantic walk-in shower.
Oh.
All glass surround. Huh. I did ceramic on inside and outside. 0 water stains.
Interesting. Those are situations I never would have thought about.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Yep. So
maybe
ceramic,
there's a business opportunity there.
Yeah, so ceramic, marble countertops, quartz countertops.
Or tile. Like, could work on grout.
Couldn't be a poor surface.
Yeah.
So it'd have to be a slick surface like marble or tile or glass.
Throw that down on some wood floor and then take your shoes off and just slide in your socks.
There you go.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's a very versatile product.
Oh, fascinating.
So yeah, I was brainstorming. I was like, man, I do it on cars. Why not?
You could do it on
do it on glass in the house. Huh. So I did inside, outside shower doors and maintenance and cleaning the shower. I go hit it with the wand.
Neat.
Yeah. No soap scum, no stains, no nothing. No water spots. Cool. And pretty cool.
All right. That's really cool. Well, Scott, I want to thank you again for taking some time. I mean, we're running on like 40 minutes at this point. Yeah. If somebody is either in the Central Virginia area or they're coming through town for a week and they want to treat their car to a spa for a day or a couple of days or something, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you or to really reach out and schedule something?
You can find me on Facebook at In The Shade RVA, Instagram, same In The Shade RVA.
Okay.
Those are both good avenues.
And somebody can just message you through there.
Message me directly through those. If you go on there, our phone number. Can I give my phone number?
Yeah, sure.
804-337-1793.
Okay.
I'll answer that phone.
Okay. You'll go right to the man himself. There you go.
And then if you send an email or text message, either myself or my wife will get it. We're family owned, and
Sure. So you're not beholden to some corporate overload.
no, I'm not. I've been doing this 33 years, and I love what I do, and I'm passionate about what I do, and she follows my passion and pushes me harder every day.
That's great.
So,
well,
yeah,
I've absolutely loved the work that
yeah.
you've done for not only the Tesla. I mean, this is just, I'm still stunned by how great that is. But even with the tint on the Spark and whatever else there will be other things that get done to that car. So I have continually not only appreciated your friendship, but also just the quality of work is something that I would recommend to anybody and everybody.
I really appreciate that.
So
I do.
Well, thank you. I mean, I guess I'll give you another chance. Anything else you want to add, or have we kind of covered it?
I think we about covered it. We do the window film and the PPF and wrap portion and the ceramic coating, and if y'all are car guys, you want to get together and talk, I'll talk about cars all day. But I appreciate you having me on the show.
Absolutely.
As always, good to talk to you.
Great. Well, thank you very much. All right, so that's all for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope you got something of value from this. I learned a bunch from Scott about the different processes, and I'm sure you did too. If you want more information, I've put a link to In The Shade RVA in the show notes, so you can head over to the Facebook page and check it out. I am also so very excited about the Electric Vehicle Fall Festival taking place September 18th this year at Dominion Raceway. If you are on the East Coast or want to travel to the East Coast, I definitely recommend checking it out. Last year was awesome. It was the first event, the inaugural year, if you will, and this year is just going to be bigger and better. I want to thank our small but growing Patreon family for their support. Rajeev Narayan leading the way at the executive producer tier, and Charles Hall supports EV Resource at the producer tier. Both receive ad-free episodes in their Patreon feed and, of course, get their names read out weekly or monthly on the podcast as a way of saying thank you. If you would like to join them, and I would be eternally grateful if you did, you can head over to the EV Resource Patreon page at patreon.com/EV Resource. Tiers start at just $5 a month, which, let's be honest, these days, that's not a lot. And actually, to pause for a second, it's not a lot on an individual basis, but it does definitely make a difference and add up collectively. And I want to get real with you. I absolutely love electric vehicles and the technology and so much centered around that. And the EV Resource really is my passion project. I started basically just to educate people, and it is still only me. I can't afford to hire anybody else. But it's not my full-time job. Eventually, I would like it to be. That's where the vision, the goal, the dream, if you will, is to head in that direction. And the reason that I want to do that is because there are so many things that I would like to do with the EV Resource. More videos, more interviews. I see this eventually possibly being a twice a week or even daily podcast. I don't have time to do that. So when it comes to Patreon, if we can grow the Patreon family and, of course, the support that comes along with it, it ultimately just means that I can take the time to bring you more content, more great things that I truly believe that you all appreciate and want to listen to as well as watch, when it comes to the YouTube videos. So that is the reason why I have advertisements, why I ask for support. It's basically just so that I can do more for all of you. And currently, I haven't been taking any money personally, for me from the business, from EV Resource. I've just been reinvesting back into it to have better equipment and to be able to do more things like go up to the New York Auto Show and really bring you guys different perspectives. So someday I would like to take it full time and ultimately just want to make this better. So
if that's a compelling reason for any of you, I definitely would be eternally grateful for your support in helping to accomplish that mission. Okay, so I'll hop off my soapbox for now. As always, I invite your feedback via email to hello@ev-resource.com. And if you haven't already, follow, subscribe, hit like, all the things. And don't forget to share the EV Resource podcast with your friends, because there's a lot more interest in electric vehicles these days, and I'm sure they want to learn just like we all have, from the very beginning. We are growing. I see the numbers, and I love knowing that we're reaching more and more people sharing great information about EVs. So that is it for this one. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time.